Imagine arriving at a village where every home is abandoned, meals left unfinished, sled dogs frozen in place, and not a single person to be found. This isn't fiction. It's one of Canada's most chilling unsolved mysteries. Welcome to the story of Anjikuni Lake. Anjikuni Lake is a lake in Kavalak region, Nunavut, Canada. It is one of several lakes located along the Kazan River. Enadai Lake is to the south and Yathkid Lake is to the north. The lake's shore is notable for rocky outcroppings of the Canadian Shield, being part of the Hearn Domain, Western Churchill Province of the Churchill Craton. Barren ground caribou migrate through the area. The lake contains lake trout, northern pike, and Arctic grayling. During his 1948 trip, Canadian explorer Farley Mowat arrived at Anjikuni Lake, then part of the Northwest Territories, and found a cairn constructed in a fashion not normally used by area Inuit. It contained pieces of a hardwood flattened box with dovetailed corners. Mowat, knowing that only one other European explorer, Samuel Hearn, had been in this region previously in 1770, speculated that the monument was built by Francis Crozier, who, as a member of the Lost Expedition originally led by Sir John Franklin, vanished in 1848 during the ill-fated search for the Northwest Passage. In 1930, a newsman in the PA, Manitoba reported on a small Inuit village right off of Lake Anjikuni. The village had always welcomed the fur trappers who passed through occasionally. However, in 1930, Joe Labelle, a fur trapper well known in the village, found that all the villagers had gone. He found unfinished shirts that still had needles in them and food hanging over fire pits and therefore concluded that the villagers had left suddenly. Even more disturbing, he found 7 sled dogs dead from starvation and a grave that had been dug up. Labelle knew that an animal could not have been responsible because the stones circling the grave were undisturbed. He reported this to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, who conducted a search for the missing people. No one was ever found. The story is first found in the November 27, 1930 issue of the Danville Bee in Danville, Virginia, written by journalist Emmett E. Kelleher. That article states that Joe Labelle found an empty Eskimo camp with 6 tents and that 25 men, women and children had vanished. The story also appears in Frank Edwards's 1959 book Stranger Than Science. Other versions appear in Whitley Strieber's science fiction novel Majestic and Dean Koontz's horror novel Phantoms. The World's Greatest UFO Mysteries has an even more detailed version, as do other websites and books, adding other standard details such as mysterious lights in the sky, empty graveyards, and over 1,000 people missing. After the article was reported in Canadian newspapers, the RCMP received inquiries. In January 1931, Sergeant J. Nelson, stationed in the PA, filed an internal report that was released to the public. Nelson wrote he could find no foundation for this story. Nelson reported that Joe Labelle, the informant, had taken out his first trapping license that season and questioned whether he had been in the territories previously as stated in the Kelleher article. Nelson continued, dating one of the photos used in the story to 1909 and stating that Kelleher was known for colorful stories. The incident appears to have been forgotten until referenced by Edwards's 1959 book. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP, has since changed their minds and dismissed the case as an urban legend, claiming that the story originated in Frank Edwards' book. The RCMP also claims, it is also believed that such a large village would never have been possible in such a remote area. The RCMP states that it has no record of any unusual activity in the area. Brian Dunning debunked the claims in an episode of Skeptoid, although he updated his findings to report that he uncovered the existence of the November 1930 Emmett E. Kelleher article, previously believing there were no such references and that the story originated with the 1959 Edwards book. While he still cites Kelleher's story as dubious, he also admits that despite this, the published article does indeed exist. The cold penetrates his bones. His legs are almost knee-deep in snow. Experienced hunter Joe Labelle makes his way through the forest, covering his face from the headwind. Any other person would have already fallen and screamed in despair, but not Joe Labelle. He can survive in any circumstances and always knows what to do. Right now, he's heading to one of the villages in the far north of Canada. This small settlement is located on Lake Anjikuni, Anjikuni. The inhabitants of this village are Inuit, indigenous people of North America. Joe hasn't eaten or drunk for a long time. He needs good sleep and a hot meal, which he hopes to get from the hospitable Inuits. Through trees and a white haze, he notices the silhouettes of tents. Smoke is coming from some houses. Joe will probably get there in time for lunch. He reaches the village and, at this moment, the wind calms down. The blizzard has ended. The hunter speeds up and goes toward the village located along the frozen lake. It's strange, but there are no locals anywhere. Probably, everyone is sitting in their houses, waiting out the blizzard. "Hello," Joe says loudly but gets no response. Great. Smoke is coming out of this tent. Joe knocks on the wall, but no one opens it. He knocks a few more times and goes inside. The little tent is empty. All things are in their places. There's a piece of cloth with needles and thread on the table. Firewood is smoldering in the fireplace. It seems that people have just left this place. Joe goes into the next tent and sees the same picture. Joe walks past the tents and sees a pit where a bonfire once burned. There is a rope above it with the meat that the Inuit were cooking hanging on it. For some reason, they didn't eat it. Lake Anjikuni is part of a chain of waterways. Here, the Inuits fished and traded various goods. Usually, there are many people here, but now something has forced them to leave their homes. Why did they leave their things behind, and where did they go? There are no tracks around the village. All the sleds are in place. The Inuits have even left their dogs here, and dogs help them to hunt and ride sleighs. No one will leave warm clothes and dogs here when moving away, especially in severe weather. Joe Labelle knows all this, so he concludes that something terrible has happened here. His body is shaking, not from the cold but from fear. After going around the entire settlement, he finds not a single soul. Terrified, he leaves the village, heads for the nearest telegraph pole, and sends a message to the police. After a while, more and more people arrive. The police are trying to find traces of missing people and figure out what has happened, but there's nothing. Near the village, they find an empty grave. During the ceremony, the Inuits place stones around the burial site. The rocks around the open pit lie untouched, which means it wasn't an animal that dug it up. But who or what needed it? About 30 people lived in the village, and they're all gone. Local residents from neighboring villages can't help since they have no idea what has happened. The only thing that the police have noticed is unusual blue lights. In this area, the northern lights are a common phenomenon. People living here regularly see a glow in the starry sky. But the police have seen something else: pulsing blue lights. Also, other hunters have witnessed something similar. They say that some strange things were flying in the sky. Anjikuni Lake lies deep in Nunavut, Canada, along the Kazan River. Remote, icy, and isolated, it was once home to a small Inuit settlement of about 25 people. In November 1930, fur trapper Joe Labelle arrived expecting warmth and community. Instead, he found silence. Labelle described the scene as haunting. Tents stood intact, clothing neatly folded, and food hung on drying racks. But the villagers were gone. Even more disturbing, the sled dogs were discovered dead, still tied to their posts, as if their owners had vanished without a thought. Word spread quickly, and soon the Royal Canadian Mounted Police investigated. But no trace of the villagers was ever found. Over the decades, theories have swirled. Today, historians debate whether the Anjikuni mystery is fact or folklore. Some evidence suggests inconsistencies in Labelle's account, while others insist something truly strange happened on that frozen night. Regardless, the tale has cemented itself as one of Canada's most enduring mysteries. This all happened in 1930. It's been almost 90 years since the disappearance of the village, and people have created a bunch of theories. The most popular of them is an attack of an extraterrestrial civilization. According to this theory, the blue lights in the sky that the locals and the police saw were spaceships. Some believe that one ominous night, these ships flew to the settlement and took away all the people. It's located in the district of Rajasthan. To get there, you can use a taxi to get to the nearest village or city. The village is located far from other settlements. It looks deserted. So what do you think? Was the Anjikuni Lake disappearance a tragic event lost to history, or a chilling legend meant to keep us guessing? Share your theories in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more mysteries from around the world.